A 1% improvement in pricing can boost profit more than a 1% improvement in customer acquisition or retention. That's not a guess. That's Price Intelligently's research. But here's the part nobody talks about. 6% of SaaS founders believe their pricing actually matches the value they deliver. 6%. That means 94% of you are either leaving money on the table or scaring customers away, and you don't even know which one. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 pricing mistakes that are quietly draining your MBRR, with real examples from real companies. Stick around for number 4. It's the one almost every founder gets wrong on purpose. Pricing based on what it costs you, not what it's worth to them. Most early-stage founders do this without realizing it. You add up server costs, dev time, support overhead, tack on a margin, and call it your price. It feels responsible. It feels safe. It's also the fastest way to undervalue your product. Software doesn't scale like a physical product. Your cost to serve customer number 1,000 is nearly identical to customer number 1. But the value you deliver, the hours saved, the revenue unlocked, the problem solved, that scales completely differently per customer. When you price off your cost instead of their outcome, you cap your own upside before you've even launched. The fix: price against the outcome you create, not the hours it took you to build it. Ask what this problem is actually costing your customer today, in time, in lost revenue, in headaches, and price as a fraction of that. Mistake number 2. Charging for the wrong thing entirely. Your value metric is what you actually charge for, per seat, per user, per project, per usage. Most SaaS companies default to per seat pricing because it's simple and it's what everyone else does. Salesforce built an empire on it. But per seat pricing punishes collaboration. It tells your customers the more your team uses this together, the more it costs you, which is exactly backwards from what you want them to feel. There's a well-known example in the RFP management space. One company was charging per seat, like the rest of the industry. A newer competitor flipped it, unlimited seats, charged instead by how many active RFPs were running at once. Suddenly, more people on a team using the tool didn't cost the customer more. It made collaboration free and made usage the thing that mattered. The fix: your value metric should grow when your customer's success grows, not when their team grows. Usage, outcomes, results, not headcount. Mistake number 3. Setting your price once at launch and never touching it again. This is probably the most common mistake on this list because it feels like the safe option. You picked a number, customers are paying it. Why mess with a working system? Because working and optimized are not the same thing. Here's a company that didn't fall into this trap: StatusPage. They raised their prices 3 separate times over 3 years. Each time, they didn't just survive it. Their average revenue per customer grew 2.5 times over. They ended up getting acquired by Atlassian. And this isn't a fluke. Data from pricing research firm OpenView shows that 98% of companies that raise prices see either neutral or positive results. Not negative, neutral or positive. Mistake number 4, and this is the one almost every founder does on purpose, out of fear. You know your price is too low. You've thought about raising it. And then you talk yourself out of it because you're scared of losing customers. Here's the data that should change your mind. Founders who struggled to raise funding were 3 times more likely to say they monetized too late, meaning they waited too long to charge what they were actually worth. Being too cheap doesn't just cost you revenue today. It signals low value to customers, it starves your ability to hire and grow, and it makes fundraising harder because investors can see you're leaving money on the table. One more example. Logical switched from a rigid pricing model to pay-as-you-go and signed up more customers in 2 months than they had in the entire previous 4 years combined. Sometimes the fear of change is costing you more than the change itself ever would. The fix: if you haven't tested a price increase in the last 6 months, that's not caution. That's a decision. You're just not making it on purpose. Mistake number 5. Building a genuinely good pricing model and then presenting it in a way that kills conversions anyway. Pricing isn't just the number. It's how that number is shown to the customer. One well-documented example. The email tool Litmus saw conversions jump 5x simply by showing dollar-based prices specifically to US customers, instead of a generic currency-neutral price. Same underlying pricing, different presentation, 5 times the conversion. This is the part most founders skip entirely, because they think pricing strategy ends once they've picked the number. It doesn't. How you anchor your tiers, which plan you visually highlight as recommended, whether you show annual savings clearly. All of it moves the needle as much as the price itself. The fix: treat your pricing page as its own product. Test the layout, the anchoring, the framing, not just the number. Let's recap fast. 1. Don't price off your costs. Price off the value you create. 2. Charge for outcomes, not headcount. 3. Pricing is a quarterly decision, not a launch day one. 4. Your fear of raising prices is probably costing you more than the price increase would. And 5. Your pricing page matters as much as your pricing model. If you're building a SaaS or subscription product right now, this is genuinely the highest leverage thing you can fix this week. I'm covering churn, retention, and growth tactics like this every week here on Recurring Rungs. Subscribe if you want to actually grow.